Hello, everyone. Let us start our webinar for today. And thank you so much for attending. We are glad that we are having people from different parts of the world attending our webinar for today. Just to have a quick check, kindly give us a thumbs up or a simple smiley if you can hear us and see us well on screen. Okay, feel free to drop your responses in the chat box. Thank you. Awesome. So I can see people confirming the audio and video. So thank you so much for that. Now let's go ahead and prepare for our webinar for today. So let's go ahead and have our topic for today. So that would be Industry 4.0 meets Society 5.0 in the era of digital industrial transformation. And it will be presented by one of our course coordinators and lecturers for industrial automation engineering. And that would be Dr. Akakur Raman, or we call him Dr. AK. So next up, let's go ahead and make sure that our notifications, sounds, and pop-ups are disabled from our screens or PCs so that we won't be getting any distractions as we go along this webinar. And for those who are joining on your mobile device or tablet, please ensure that you download the Microsoft Teams application for a convenient and smooth experience during the webinar. And we would like to encourage everyone as well to post their questions using the Q&A button. If you look at the top menu of your Teams screen, you can see the chat icon, and right beside that, you can also see the Q&A icon or button. Please post the Q&A, your questions using the Q&A button so that they would be more organized and we won't be missing any questions at all. So that's it. I hope that everyone is able to follow those tips so that you will have the best experience during this webinar. And we will be giving out a copy of the slides or the material and a video recording of this presentation within the next 2 business days via email. So please monitor your junk or your inboxes so that you won't be missing these information. Also, since this is a technical webinar, we will be giving out certificate of attendance. It will be an online certificate, and we will be sharing the certificate request link and QR code later after the presentation. Now let's get to know EIT a bit more. So about our school, we are dedicated to ensuring that our students would receive a world-class education and gain skills that you can immediately implement or use in your workplaces. And of course, as one of the only institutes in the world specializing in engineering, we deliver professional certificate courses, diplomas, advanced diplomas, and also undergraduate and graduate certificates and diplomas as well. And we also have our higher education courses, such as bachelor's, master's, and a doctor of engineering degree. Our programs are designed by industry experts, just like Dr. AK here, and that is to ensure that you graduate with cutting-edge skills that are valued by employers. And our program content as well remains current with a rapidly changing technology and industry developments. We also have vocational programs and higher education degrees, just like what we mentioned earlier, and they are all registered and accredited by the Australian government. We also have programs that are also recognized under the three international engineering accords by Engineers Australia. We have the Dublin Accord, Sydney Accord, and the Washington Accord. Our lecturers are highly experienced engineers and subject specialists with applied knowledge. So you can expect that they can impart insights during the discussions that you can definitely learn from. And those are practical and you can immediately apply them in your workplaces as well, or when you practice your engineering profession. And the technologies employed by EIT for both online and on campus enable us to source our lecturers from a large global pool of expertise. So we don't only have lecturers from Australia, but we also have lecturers from all over the world. We deliver our programs via a unique methodology that makes use of live and interactive webinars and other approaches, such as having an international pool of expert lecturers for you to have a global exposure and experience. We also have our dedicated learning support officers that you can go to while you are studying here in EIT. They are your go-to persons, and all your concerns will be handled by our learning support officers. And we also have state-of-the-art technologies such as hands-on workshops, remote laboratories, and a simulation software that would help you learn effectively during your study. All right, so that's it about EIT. And now let me go ahead and introduce you to our lecturer for today. This is Dr. Aklakur Rahman, or Dr. AK, and he would like to share with us his years of experience and background as well, so that we can be assured that we are learning from the best. Dr. AK, here's your cue.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I hope you can hear me clearly. Thank you for a wonderful introduction to the webinar as well as myself as well. I'll just share my screen. Well, share my window. Just give me a second. So, okay. All right, so I hope you guys can see my screen. Can I just get a quick thumbs up or a yes in the comments just to see that you guys can see my screen properly? Uh, Anyone? Yep, wonderful. Thank you so much, Joel. All right. So yes, as Lisa was mentioning, I'm Dr. Akhlaqur Rahman. So I'm actually one of the course coordinators here at EIT, and I've been with EIT for almost 5+ years now. I have almost 10 years more or more actually of experience in teaching electrical engineering and industrial automation in Australia, as well as from Bangladesh, where I'm originally from. I came in Australia in 2014. I did my PhD in electrical engineering from Swinburne University, and which is in Melbourne, Australia. After that, I completed my bachelor's. Sorry, after that, after I had completed my PhD, I actually worked at a few universities before joining EIT in 2019, where I've been working as the lecturer and course coordinator for industrial automation. So I have also worked with IEEE as well, IEEE Victoria, IEEE Young Professionals Victoria. So this is just a few industry engagements or I've tried to maintain. I've also worked with Engineers Australia committees as well. So my focus has been, besides my teaching and research, I've also tried to be involved in industry connections that can help engineers like you, many of you who have attended today. My area of interest, as you'll see today, is actually cloud robotics, and their applications in Industry 4.0, Industrial IoT. So these are some of my area of interest, and you'll see that in our presentation today as well. So thank you again for joining. And again, as I mentioned, thank you EIT for organizing the event as well. So let's get into the presentation. Again, the main agenda for today's presentation, and as the title suggests, Industry 4.0 meets Society 5.0 in the era of digital transformation. So that was the main title for the presentation. And as evident from the title, it basically talks about a couple of technologies that is very relevant and very well, highly talked about nowadays, and how that can be integrated into what we need to do going forward. So that is the main idea today. So if there is anything you want to take away from today's presentation, and since it's a technical webinar, the idea would be the knowledge of what is Industry 4.0. That is the first topic we'll cover. Then about what is Society 5.0, and uh, when is it coming, or how is it coming, and who is coming up with it. That's basically the idea. As engineers or potential engineers or people interested in engineering, how can you merge these two technologies, or what is the area where these two meet? And then the application in digital transformation, which is if you understand how to integrate these two, what are the areas you can find where this will be implemented. So that is the main idea for today's presentation, to understand these two topics and how you can implement that in different areas, so that after the presentation you have lots to think about, or at least you can think about different areas where you can implement it. That's all we can ask for. Yeah, and as Lisa mentioned, feel free to ask questions in the QA and the A function that they have as well. We'll be happy to answer them when the time comes. So, and of course, there will be some feedback at the end as well. All right, so let's go to the presentation now. Starting with Industry 4.0, right? So we'll go to the next one. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, it took us a little bit of second to for the slide to appear. So the first thing we'll start now is with Industry 4.0 and industrial IoT, right? So Industry 4.0, and you'll see that as we start discussing about this topic, Industry 4.0 is basically the fourth industrial revolution, right? Um, People who are available in the chat, can you tell me what is the first thing that you think about whenever I write the term Industry 4.0? Anything, you guys can write anything. What is the terms that you think about when you hear the term Industry 4.0? You don't have to provide me a detailed answer. Yeah, thank you, Grant. AI, wonderful. Someone mentioned digitization, brilliant. So digitalization, automation, excellent. IoT, anyone else? Yes, digitalization, automation, beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So you guys are definitely, oh, digital twins, someone mentioned. Thank you as well. So big data analytics, machine learning, data liberation. Wow. You guys are all on the correct track. Probably know more than me as well. So thank you for making my job so much easier. So robotics, autonomous operations, smart manufacturing. Yes, this is are all correct. So what we are talking about, all these terminologies, I mean, they do overlap in some cases, and they all fall under eventually what we are going to talk about, automation, right? Now, the reason when we talk about automation and, excuse me, particularly about Industry 4.0, is very important to understand this is not the first stage of automation, right? This is the fourth industrial revolution, means there has been three revolutions before it, right? So let's do a little bit of history study just so we understand how Industry 4.0 came into being. And you'll see that all the terminologies you're mentioning, like automation, and some of the key enablers like machine learning, smart manufacturing, robotics, how they fall into different places throughout history. Okay, so a bit of history, right? So Industry 1.0. So this, you'll be surprised to know that when we talk about Industry 1.0 or the first industrial revolution, that's actually more than 200 years back, 250 years, close to 250 years. And this was actually powered by two things, steam and water. Well, you can think of it as one thing, but steam and water, and how manufacturing processes were inspired by that. There's a lot of people call it mechanization. So steam powered engines, or how that was used for agricultural purposes. So that was the first time people thought about ways of automating a little bit of task, or at least offloading some of their tasks. That was the first industrial revolution. And you'll see the pattern here is whatever technology people came up with, how that actually helped with what was basically invented around us. That's how history has always been. So Industry 1.0, mechanization. Let's move to the next one. Industry 2.0. So Industry 2.0 was powered by electricity. So that would be after 1890, around 1900, when electricity was invented. The manufacturing revolution, which was already there, that was bolstered by electricity. So what happened was, now with electricity, people came up with the idea of what we call, and I'll write it in the chat as well so that you guys have a bit more idea of batch assembly. So batch assembly basically meant that you can use or manufacture products in an assembly line because electricity allowed you to run that. And that could mean you could now do mass production. So that changed a lot of the way, again, the industry was running. And that was the second industrial revolution. Now let's move on to Industry 3.0, which was about, now by now it would be 50, 60 years back. And as you can see, this was, inspired or powered by two things, computer and IT technology. So with computer and IT, what now you understand was you can use computers to control machines. So the smart engineers, what they came up with was using IT technology to use machine or build machines that can be controlled by humans. So that was the idea with Industry 3.0. So that is basically the third industrial revolution, which brings us to Industry 4.0. And we are actually in the middle of Industry 4.0. And it has been here for almost 10 years now, which is basically bolstered by the rise of, I think someone mentioned it there, IoT or Internet of Things, cyber physical systems, where physical machines being controlled by cyber methods that are through computers or other means as well, and IoT together. So those were the two main things that help boost Industry 4.0. So now with Industry 4.0, if we compare with Industry 3.0, so you had humans controlling individual machines, right? Now with Industry 4.0, you have different machines that you can control, but the machines are getting smarter as well, or we are building the machines to be much smarter. And similar to how we have internet technology for our benefit, we developed a system where the machines can use internet among themselves to make life easier for us and for their work as well. So let's say in an operational plant floor where you had each humans working on different operation or different machines, now you have multiple machines operating in parts of the operation floor or plant floor, and the machines can use internet based technology to make some low level decisions themselves. So that means a lot of the tasks that the humans would be doing on the plant floor now can be automated, hence the term automation, with taking help from the robots that are, or the machines that are doing that now has internet capability. So a lot of the terminologies like big data analytics, machine learning, data liberation, smart manufacturing, robotics, what are they all talking about? So the machine now can make collect all the data and based on that make some assumptions. So for example, what is the status of the machine? Is the machine working fine? Is the machine working at the proper temperature? Does anything need to be changed? They can suggest a lot of those things based on the information that they're receiving rather than the human having to monitor everything on the plant floor manually. So that changes the scope of how humans are operating in the plant floor. So a lot of the discussion that we get when we talk about Industry 4.0 and automation is how that's taking jobs away. But if you look at it from a positive way, that what that's actually doing is changing the role of how humans are operating. So now humans need to work at a higher level, as you can see here, and learn how to monitor these operations and control these operations. So this is what Industry 4.0 is now. So you have all these different technologies of AI, robotics. I think you guys provide the answer here. Data analytics, machine learning, all these are part of Industry 4.0, where plant floor level operations can be done by your machines with IoT, and humans need to operate at a higher level controlling this operation. So that's Industry 4.0. Now we'll see a bit more information about Industry 4.0, but I'd just like to go back a little bit more about after Industry 4.0, which is digital age, as I mentioned, smart and connected devices. In the future, there will be Industry 5.0 as well. We're not really covering that today here, but definitely a lot of discussion going how the future will look at as well. And we will talk a little bit about how the future is. But just so you know, for the last 10, 12 years, we are in the middle of Industry 4.0, which is the digital age. So that's Industry 4.0. Now, if we want to make sense of what is Industry 4.0, as I already mentioned, Industry 4.0 goes hand in hand with IoT or Internet of Things. So as I mentioned before, so with the Internet of Things, the devices can communicate with each other, right? And Industry 4.0 is basically using that technology so that all the cyber physical systems can enhance their capacity. So in many sense, when we talk about Industry 4.0 and IoT, or in particular industrial IoT, we are talking about similar concepts. At least for the scope of this presentation, both are actually pointing to the same thing, which is data management, connectivity, communication, and secure cloud technology to benefit our operation. So that's where we are at now, Industry 4.0. Let's see what are the key components of Industry 4.0? And again, our today's presentation is not really about Industry 4.0. We have done similar presentations before, but I can see by the comments, a lot of people of you know about Industry 4.0. But as I mentioned, technologies like big data, cloud computing, IoT, 3D printing, cybersecurity, autonomous robots, digital twin, AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, and system integration. These will be key components of industrial IoT or Industry 4.0 in this case as we progress further and further. So this is where we are currently at. Now, well, because the theme of the topic today was digital transformation, right? So if we think about digital transformation and what is the main benefits of Industry 4.0 in digital transformation, so you can think of these components like scalability. So different scale of operation, security. So now there is security is a big aspect, and that's why the technologies are also focusing on cybersecurity aspects in their design as well. More control and visibility. So the more we are increasing in technology, and you'll see that in the manufacturing process now you have different layers or different stages of operation that you have more control over, allowing us to do more and more customization throughout the process, which is making the demand, which is making the operation more, what's the word, flexible, but also providing more scope for how the to keep us updated of how future demands might be as well. So we are currently in the age of batch customization. Future, if there is more mass customization required for the products, that's where that can be possible. So more customer satisfaction as well, and more customization, as I mentioned. So these are the benefits of Industry 4.0 in digital transformation. So as we are already moving to more digitalization, as every one of you mentioned. So these are the benefits that we are getting and the different aspects of industry. Now, and just some basic information. This is not really very surprising, but as you can see, more than 80% of industrial companies were expected to implement IoT projects by 2022 and over 95% by 2027. And to be honest, it's actually only going to be increasing and yeah, more. Now, let's talk about the main theme that today's presentation is focusing on. So as I mentioned before, I have done a few presentations previously about Industry 4.0, Industry 4.0 and the role in digital transformation and so on. So from that point of view, this was kind of a recap of what we are trying to do. But what I wanted to discuss about is about this new technology or new method of or new idea, let's say, of Society 5.0 and how that actually relates to Industry 4.0 as well. So what we are going to be talking about is Society 5.0, and this is a very interesting idea. So when we say Society 5.0, right? So mainly what we are trying to say is actually I think the best way to explain that is it's basically a concept. Okay, and it's first approached or first proposed by the Japanese government, right? In the well, their approach was to create basically a super smart society that can balance the economic achievements that they have with the resolution of social problems through a integrated system that would allow us to use, let's say, or that would rather integrate the physical space with the cyberspace. So now, so far, what we have been talking about is more on the industry side, right? So the industrial revolution, how that can be integrated with the societal societal progression and development. This is where Society 5.0 sits, right? So a little bit of history as well for Society 5.0 before we go into the details. Society 5.0 again means that there were previous histories of societal revolution as well. So not too much details here because I think this will not be as interesting as the Industrial Revolution. But Society 1.0 was basically prehistoric times. So this was for hunting gathering. So basically humans would live in small groups. So hunting for fishing or, gathering plants for survival. That was Society 1.0. Society 2.0 was probably more on the agricultural revolution. So this was again long time back, to be honest, and humans initially started understanding that mainly two things: cultivating crops and animal domestication. So that would be the way to go forward. So that was the Society 2.0. Now, if we go to Society 3.0, this is where it starts matching with the Industrial Revolution. Society 3.0 would probably be 18th to 19th century. And this was basically when the time when machineries started coming and people realized that there is industrial production processes. And that means that's when people started the concept of urbanization as well. So more factories being built and economies are shifting towards a more industrial based idea. So more and that was aided by the technological advancement. Then came Society 4.0, and again you can easily match what with the industrial revolution where informational society came about. So basically the idea was information revolution. So more computers and internet that actually aided to how the information was being created and being processed. And that also became a big part of your societal lifestyle. So that is basically Society 4.0. Now, Society 5.0, as I mentioned, is a concept that has been proposed by the Japanese government, but it's still being implemented. So you can think of it because all around you in many countries, these are not being implemented. So this is still a evolution, evolving concept. So that's where we are with Society 5.0. The idea is this will be hopefully in the near future, and this will again do two things: integrate the physical space with the cyberspace. So more all the technologies of what we mentioned before, IoT, AI, robotics, big data analytics, machine learning, smart manufacturing, autonomous operations, everything that we said, we've been talking about of all of that from an industrial point of view. And if you look at from that from a societal point of view, you can also think about how those impact your lives. So, so if we look from that glass, we'll see the impact of Society 5.0 and how that will be implemented. Then you can think about it in order to do that, how the Industry 4.0 technology needs to be integrated here. So that's basically what we are trying to do. I'll keep the presentation a bit short, probably going a bit too slow, so I don't want to take off too much time. But again, as I mentioned, so a couple of scenarios just to explain to you what I'm trying to say by Society 5.0, right? So this is basically an idea where you, me, everyone attending will be part of a society that is a super smart society. So we're using all these technologies that we're talking about at an industry level, but in our day-to-day life. So we are already doing that. Let's say we are using the internet, we are using computers. That's because that's part of the industry 4. Sorry, actually part of the industry 3.0 technology that we are using in our societal life. What about the next set of technology and how can make that part of our life? This is what they're talking about and how that will look at a societal level. So, so let's say a couple of examples. So you can see current society. So a lot of the information that is currently available, the data is not all shared, but with Internet of Things, computers and all the machines that even we use at a domestic level, they will be able to access more information and that will provide them more scope of doing more things themselves, which will make our lives easier. So that's probably an idea with Society 5.0. We're talking about AI. So AI is a whole other topic, but how AI is evolving, that's already changing our lifestyle and how we are doing things. So as AI becomes more powerful, our operations and our skill set and our the way we live our life will change as well. So that will probably be part of Society 5.0. So that's basically how achieving the Society 5.0 will come about. So again, another example is how to transition from the current space to the new one. So think about, let's say, someone who is using the cloud as well, right? So someone who is using the cloud is probably using big data analytics as well. But with time, these will become more powerful. And with interconnected information, you'll be able to do more. So for example, all these different things you're doing at a physical space, a person is searching for a navigation system, or they're analyzing information, or robots that are producing under the control of the human. In future, this will be replaced or this will be upgraded to, let's say, automatic driving, or AI will propose solutions to people, or more automatic production by robots in factory. So this kind of changes the way the society is also we are seeing things as well. So that's another example. Hopefully, it will lead to a more balanced society where we have a more economic advancement, but resolution of more social problems as well. And so it will hopefully have more comfort, vitality, and high quality lives. So let's say it will not only increase more features, but that will actually benefit. So our daily life will be better, allow us to talk with more people, or at least connect with more people, more resolve a lot of our day-to-day problems with technology. So we are more safe and secure life and have a better balance in life as well. So that's the idea with Society 5.0. So it's basically technology at a societal level, how those can be integrated all across so that that can actually be possible. So this is where we start discussing about Industry 4.0 and how that meets with Society 5.0. Beautiful animation in the background, by the way. So, so as you can see, so if we do a quick history of Society 5.0, Industry 4.0, as I mentioned, so if you look from um, a portion after the third industrial revolution, second industrial revolution or the Society 3.0, they actually went hand in hand. So whenever the industrial revolution was happening, the society was also society 3.0 matches with industry 2.0, industry 3.0 matches with society 4.0, and hopefully industry 4.0 will meet with society 5.0 as well. So that's basically how there will be an integration. So they have been parallel in their progression, but uh, how we can integrate it, that's basically what we are trying to discuss. So this is again talking about the same thing. So how the same way the technology has helped with the industrial revolution, but eventually that has also impacted how the society actually gets impacted and how their progression happens as well. So if we look for the scope, and this is something, to be honest, I want you guys to do it after the presentation, and that's what I really want you guys to take out from today's presentation, which is the scope for integrating Society 5.0 and Industry 4.0. And one of the terminologies that actually I have not used today, but will be a big part of going forward is sustainability, right? And actually, this is what they call, I'll write it in the chat box as well, SDG, which is a sustainability development goal, right? So sustainability development goal is will be a big part of what we call going. Someone wrote MDG. Can you explain what MDG means as well in the chat? If you can explain what MDG means. So yeah, so as I was mentioning about this Millennium Development Goals. Yeah, so that's good. Thank you so much. So that I think goes hand in hand with Sustainability Development Goals as well. So the idea is, so this kind of provides us what we need in our societal life, but also how the Industry 4.0 technologies or the key enablers will actually. Thank you so much for providing links if anyone wants to learn a bit more as well. So how that technologies will be aided by all the technologies that is part of Industry 4.0. So if you any points that you look at, and I'm not really going to be going into any details, but quality education, clean water, you can see all these are connected with all these different technologies. So, so the idea here is that technologies are enabling you to achieve these goals that will make your life more sustainable and the society more evolved. So that is basically where Society 5.0 and Industry 4.0 can work together. I mentioned a little bit earlier today that one of the future discussion points is Industry 5.0, which is not part of the focus, but a big part of Industry 5.0 is sustainability as well. So even if you go further into the future, this will become a more requirement as well. So this is where Industry 4.0 meets Society 5.0. So the idea is you have a society that's more evolved and much smarter based in their lifestyle, but that is aided. Uh, uh, well, in my opinion, Millennium Development Goals and Sustainability Development Goals hopefully are related. I haven't actually used this link before, but yeah, if it's, I can see it's under the United Nations. So this should be, yeah, so it just says that, so the I think, yeah. So the next agenda is probably the new agenda is for the next 15 years, which is the sustainability development goals. So they should be related based on what I could see from the link that was presented by the one of the attendees, Karen. So yeah, definitely you are on the right track. So they are related. So that is the idea here, as you can see. So ultimately, where Society 5.0 and Industry 4.0 meets, the societal evolution that you want, that will be aided by the Industry 4.0 technologies that will be implementing in the societal in development, basically. So if I want to have a look at a couple of applications, this is more of a use case. And this is, to be honest, just ideas that we hopefully will be able to achieve. So if you look at things like autonomous driving, so there is already some discussions or some development that has happened already. So some self-driving cars. So of course, these are not fully um, casualty free at the or error free, but yeah, more cars, vehicle to vehicle communication, so interconnected systems that will allow for more autonomous driving. That will can be a part where Society 5.0 and Industry 4.0 can work together. We'll show you some examples as well. For example, think of mobility, right? So the whole idea with Society 5.0, when it integrates with Industry 4.0, is a term called integrated or super connected society, right? So everything that individually the Industry 4.0 technologies are allowing you to do, in a Society 5.0, all this information can be integrated together to achieve a larger goal and make a more broader impact. So for example, here you can see mobility. If you want to plan a route, right? So to go somewhere, you can connect information like which road will allow you to provide less traffic, but also you can add things like if you have a food requirement, which restaurants you will get better food, which road will have better, which area that you pass through will have better area, whether maybe you want to add some sightseeing areas based on your needs. So all these data can be integrated together to provide you more options as well. And also with your self-driving, they can make those decisions and provide you that as well. Maybe your personal history. All these can be part of your system. So when we're talking about previously on an Industry 4.0 technology idea, it was more about how the technology will be built, how it will be impacted on the industrial side. But now you're talking about from a societal point of view, how this will make your life improve. So that's what we are trying to say. More comfortable travel, more smooth transfers with autonomous cars. So more optimal planning. So that will be the idea. Even for health support or aging support as well. So you may have a scenario where you have humans at home, especially aging people. They might have sensors connected with their bodies, and if there is any emergency, that will allow, or let's say some sort of alert that will allow autonomous car or some sort of remote support where that might provide some transportation support as well. So you can see how different technologies need to be integrated to make that happen. So again, these are, of course, some examples only. Similarly, with manufacturing as well, I mentioned already with Industry 4.0, the manufacturing already is becoming much more flexible with each layer of production becoming more and more flexible and customizable. But it can become more when you think about the future of which is my next topic, the supply chain operation, right? So if you think about the current way, once you prepare a product and you give it to the client, your job is done. But as technology has improved, um, throughout the life cycle of the product use, more and more feedback has been added as part of the supply chain. So in future, that will become much broader as well. So, so basically what you'll have is even after you have provided the product, there will be feedback that might help with further production, further customization, and throughout the life cycle, you might be providing more support to the customer that will be becoming, and that will help with all this integrated system as well. Um, Sir, can we use Society 5.0 for emergency vehicles like ambulance so that it can communicate to nearest hospital? Well, if we can build it, it can, and that is the basic idea, right? So what we have, and when we think about Society 5.0, so by the way, the answer is yes, if we can create an infrastructure like that, we can, and that will be much better. So that is, yeah, but the whole setup will need to be like that. That is the thing. So the idea is, and this is what all these examples we are providing, and all, again, similarly for energy management systems as well. So you have different sources of power, but you also have things like electric vehicle, which is also a new dimension that has been added. But let's say you have a system that focuses more on, if it's all integrated, focuses more on renewable energy as well. So that can also be a connected energy management system that will be more optimized. Anyway, so altogether, the reason I was providing these ideas was for these examples, right? I will get back to this one in a second. I will start with this one first. So think of an example, right? Does industry, can you hold on to that question? We'll come to that in a minute. Okay, so let's talk about this example, right? So think about this scenario, optimizing manufacturing and transport according to consumption trends and providing highly functional products quickly and at low cost. So think about it again. You're optimizing your manufacturing process. So think about a manufacturing process that's going on. You're optimizing it and also connecting it with your delivery. So transport, you're optimizing that process to according to consumption trends. So let's say, depending on what type of food you eat, or let's say, I think food is not the right, let's say clothes you buy or wear, based on that, the manufacturing will customize in according to your need, or let's say the need of the group of the people, and provide highly functional products much quickly. So this will not be a slow process. This will happen much faster and at a lower cost. So even though you're doing customized production, but it doesn't impact the costing too much or the time too much. Now, if that can be done, think about from 2 points of view. From a customer point of view, based on my needs, now you are providing me more customized things, but using automation. So if you were a seller and you are a single person seller and doing that for me, that's amazing because you are a kind person. But if that is happening through automation, now that makes the whole process much, much more integrated, but makes my, like as a customer, my satisfaction level much higher. But so that's one point. From a customer level point, that's amazing. Now, from a service provider point, can you think of it? In order to make that happen, the manufacturing, the transport, the retail side, and data communication all need to be integrated as part of a single structure. So the manufacturing plan need to provide the transport, the information that once this is prepared, quickly pass on this customer. The wholesale and retail also needs to adjust accordingly, that based on their needs and the consumption trends. So more of these clothes are being more popular. So that information needs to be provided, and the data communication needs to be solid, reliable, and secure to ensure all of these are integrated properly. So this is what I mean is from a societal point of view, things like wholesale and data communication, you're integrating it with manufacturing and transport, which is more on the industry side. So this is what we call a super connected society, where the societal needs are integrated with the industrial capacity or capabilities and providing you the needs with automation. That's one example. Similarly, think matching expected return times with transport information in real time, and picking up multiple passengers in each vehicle. So depending on where you are and let's say if it's at a restaurant or matching people with similar type of needs, and you are putting them all on the same vehicle as part of let's say there's some sort of requirement. I want to go from this place to this place, but I don't want, I just, these are my requirements, something like that. So that again, if you think from that point of view, transport, lodging, food, drink services, data communication, this is another scenario where all these different technologies need to be integrated together. So this is what I mean when I'm talking about the fact that the Society 5.0 and Industry 4.0 together will need to have worked together when it's an integrated technology of industrial capability being implemented based on the requirements of the societal needs. So, and I think the other one, this was basically one of the few examples I actually provided today of uh, some ride sharing technologies in Japan that is actually trying to implement Society 5.0 technologies. So that was basically one of them. But there are different technologies that is already happening in different places. So ultimately, I think there is some in Japan mostly, but there is also some smart city projects in Singapore, some healthcare innovations in Germany, where they're integrating different technologies to meet the needs for the societal needs, basically. So if I were to summarize ultimately, what I'm basically trying to say is a connected society where societal needs along with industrial technologies can work together. That's basically the goal of how Industry 5.0, sorry, Industry 4.0 will meet Society 5.0. That's how it can happen together. So it is actually a infrastructure that needs to be across the board. So it doesn't not only at an industrial level, but at a societal level. It has to be a smart city, smart technologies being implemented in a day-to-day level with human acceptance plus the industrial technology to perform when needed. So that's basically my main idea. Now, looking further down, and we will not be covering that today, but the idea of Industry 5.0, right? So after Society 5.0, there will probably be Industry 5.0 as well, which is right around the corner, some people say. So we are in the Industry 4.0, and I'm not going to be going through the details of Industry 5.0, but a little bit of tease. So Industry 4.0 was all about robots communicating with each other using Internet of Things, so that robots can operate on the plant floor and humans don't need to be on the plant floor anymore. Industry 5.0 is supposed to be about robots becoming safer and finding robots or building robots that can work in technologies where humans can come back to the plant floor, operation floor, and work side by side with robots. So collaborative robots where humans can work together and the operations will be more sustainable throughout. So that will meet fine with Society 5.0 needs, which is sustainability as well. So that will be where Industry 5.0 will hopefully meet Society 5.0, but that's way down the line. So because I had one question, someone mentioned that Industry 5.0 will be focusing more on the advancement of Society 5.0. So Industry 5.0 will focus more on the advancements from Industry 4.0, but it will go more hand in hand with Society 5.0 as well. Okay, so that's actually the answer that I wanted to provide. So Society 5.0 will benefit from Industry 4.0, and hopefully Industry 5.0 will again benefit from will benefit Society 5.0 as well. So won't Society 5.0 replace a lot of people's job, given it is will be an upgrade from Industry 4.0, which in earlier years brought automation of machines and enhanced operation of machines by workers? That is a valid concern. And to be honest, it has replaced a lot of job, but with every revolution, what's happening is that means the people need to evolve with the needs of the uh, uh, the industry. So that means, as I mentioned, in Industry 4.0, if a person was controlling a machine, now that person needs to learn how to monitor the machine. So you need to learn data analytics, you need to learn machine learning, and that's why you need to do more courses. You'll be surprised we have so many students or so many industry people doing short-term professional certificates, graduate certificates, even masters in a particular area. Maybe they're from mechanical to doing electrical or IA. They want to upskill themselves because that's the need of the industry. So that's basically where it's coming from. Automation will increase productivity of the mundane activities of labor. Those persons can be used in more effective tasks. So, and that means that those people also need to be trained to do those effective tasks as well. In view of Society 5.0, people should learn smart knowledge that will make them get smarter jobs. So that's another part as well. So education will also need to update according to the needs as well. So I think we talk about like AI, right? So much talk about AI recently, but I think AI will also help us with education as well. So that needs to happen. So there are all these different technologies. It's a vast, vast topic, but the idea is Society 5.0. I think this image probably explains everything. It's a super connected society, whether it's education, real estate, electricity, gas, transport. So this is a whole different lifestyle. But this concept can happen only when you are super invested in making sure that all of this can be implemented. And Japan has already started that. So they are building some technologies to do that. But yeah, I think slowly we'll probably be in a situation where people will move to that. But it's probably a bit far. Let's say it will take some time. So yeah, that's all from me. I'll try to answer any more questions if you guys have any. So yes, I'll get it back to Lisa. Lisa, if you want to take over.
Yes, thank you so much for such a very informative presentation, Dr. AK. And I can see that there's a lot of interactions in the chat box and in the Q&A
Ah, okay.
um, room as well. And I can see that they are really interested in all of those information that you have shared with them. So let me just go ahead and go back to those questions. Hold on. So let me start with the Q&A room. We have a question here from Rob, and he is asking, is there a difference between society and Renaissance period, where society focused on the arts and other passive pastimes?
So is there a difference between society and Renaissance period where society focused more on the art and other passive pastimes? That seems a very interesting question, actually, to be honest. So the Renaissance period is not my expertise, but I think there will probably be a difference as well if we think about the Renaissance period, right? So I think that's more about specific period of a European history, as far as I understand. I don't really remember that time or know much about that, but I think it will probably be mid 1500s or something. So, but I think the when we talk about the society or their focus, it's more on the community of the people that are living. So, Renaissance period will probably be a very specific time for a specific area, whereas I think the society, when we talk about society 4.0, 5.0, that's a more broader thing. So I think Renaissance period will be a small time or small period of time where a certain interest was there, which can be for other periods, for other cultures as well, if I'm making a bit of sense.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Rob, I hope that we answer your first question. He has a second question as well. And he mentioned here that Perth, Western Australia trial driverless vehicles for rideshare. However, the driver was replaced by security guards, defeating the purpose of removing the driver. Does this new technology adoption lead to social issues?
Yeah, so that's again based on and that's a very good example, Rob, that you are aware of the changes that are being made or at least being implemented. So that's basically a classic scenario of technology not yet um, becoming socially accepted, as well as probably its performance being and not being as secure to make it available to the public, right? So I think that's probably the main issue there. So there will probably be a time where the technology will become sophisticated enough where it can become more publicly accepted and publicly safe as well. I think there is now trials being done for Uber helicopters, I think, or something like that as well. I think a few cities. So you can think different technology that are being trialed. So with autonomous cars as well, I think this will take a bit of time, but it will eventually go there. So it will probably be semi-automated, more people accepting that, but then to automate it, or at least the society will evolve in a way where certain portions of the society might be autonomous driving, the rest still humans driving as well. So that will be, I think, one of the scenarios. So there are lots of social issues. So, and that will be a big part of Society 5.0, which we actually didn't really cover the ethical issues or the acceptance issues. But as I mentioned, as more and more technology is there, that will be accepted. I mean, think of a time, probably it's before me, but probably people were very hesitant of internet at one point as well, I'm assuming. So now internet is everywhere. So imagine, think of like that. Yeah.
Okay. We have another one from Joseph. It says, what impact does Society 5.0 implementation have on the safety systems of oil and gas facilities?
Okay. So Society 5.0. Okay. Well, I think when you talk about the oil and gas facility, that's more of an industrial side. But if you think about Society 5.0 technologies, um, I think we are talking more about Industry 4.0 technologies there. But I think if we think from Society 5.0 technologies as well, like monitoring, detection, emergency, those are already part of Industry 4.0 technologies that are implementing with oil and gas facilities. The only thing I can think of at this moment is probably how sustainability can be a focus of oil and gas facility as well. So I don't have the details there, but yeah, I think sustainability or a focus on sustainability can be a big part of the safety systems of oil and gas facility. That's one of the things where probably Society 5.0 technologies will become such a big important thing that people will have to, or people will be more willing to accept that, yeah, sustainability is a big part and we need to focus on that even when it comes to something like an oil and gas facility as well. That's probably what I can think of. But yes, other than that, worker safety or like things like wearable technology, sensors. So these can all be part of like monitoring, detection, emergency response. These were all actually industrial technologies. So I don't really put them in societal technology. But if you think from that point of view, wearable sensors or drone technology or even predictive maintenance, as simple as that, that's already there. Those are actually all technologies that are benefiting the safety of oil and gas. Yeah. Lisa, I think you are muted.
Sorry, thank you about that. We also have another question from Azima, and this is about what will be the main challenge between this symphony of machines and the physical world.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Okay.
Is it in the Q&A section?
Yes, you can have a look at the
Okay.
Q&A section. That's from Azima. What will be the main challenge between the symphony of machines and the physical world.
Oh, okay, I can see the question. So, what is the main challenge between the symphony of machines and the physical world? Well, I mean, the the integration between machines and the physical world, that's basically the concept of Industry 4.0, which is the cyber physical systems, right? So you are already uh, working towards that. So, or we have already done some progression towards that, where you have, let's say, a machine that you are operating with, let's say, using IT technology, but where is that IT technology or the decisions being made based on the sensors that are connected on the machine? So you have, let's say, some sensors that are connected on the machine that's providing information like temperature or some sound, perhaps, or status of the machine or whatever that is. But those information is sent to a computer that's collecting all this information, and based on that running some algorithm that's providing an information that, okay, the robot or the machine now needs to do this or that. So that's basically a physical machine will operate based on that instruction. So now you have a cyber technology of computers doing some decision making, but that's impacting how the physical operation is working. So that's a cyber physical operation. So we are already doing that. So that's Industry 4.0. Now, if you think about the main challenges with that, the main challenges is, of course, integration of these technologies, so, data privacy, that's a big issue. You can think about technologies like probably safety as these machines are operating. So if there are any humans nearby, safety operation of things like that, and accuracy of the data, their like performance of the data, whether the calculation is accurate or not, that sort of thing are the main challenges. Now, if you think of all that in the practical world or like with society 5.0, that will be the same case as well. So if you are using those technologies for some humans at home, that will have the same issues as well, safety. So if there's a person who is sick and some technologies we're utilizing to check their monitoring their health status or something like that, whether it's accurate or not, that will need to be checked. So that will be the probably the accuracy and privacy will probably be the main challenges here.
Okay, I think we have still four questions in the Q&A and about five in the chat box. Are you still good to continue, Dr. AK?
Yeah, I'll probably make them a bit fast. I'm sorry, I do get into the explanation a bit longer, so my apologies. But yeah, I'll try to answer. I can see some of them. I will probably go through the next one. I can see Karen has mentioned, how does industrial automation fit into digital transformation strategies? So industrial automation is Industry 4.0, 3.0. It's all about automation. So anything we're doing is automation. So automation basically means you're using IT technologies, computer, to automate some of the work. So if it's a machine learning technology that's providing you predictive maintenance, that means that's automation. So with that, you are transformation, or you're transforming your manufacturing from to more digitalization. So these are all fit into that. So anything related to industrial automation or is actually part of Industry 4.0, and that's part of the digital transformation. I can see the next one from Ian. Given the progress is inevitable, how should we prepare for the transition to Society 5.0? Should our focus be on learning data analytics, machine learning, and AI? And what steps would you recommend to be ready for the review? To be honest, immediate need, yes. Immediate need, I can see data analytics, machine learning, AI. AI is already here, so AI you need to be starting immediately if you haven't. So this will not be a what's the word? This will not be an enhancement in future. This will just be a requirement. So just that these three should all be part of your knowledge now. And I'll probably say one other would be some knowledge of cybersecurity. That will probably be very important in the data privacy, basically. So that again goes with data analytics. So focus on that. Um, so I can see, Daryl, how can businesses effectively balance technological innovation with human-centric values to ensure that the advancements of Industry 4.0 contribute to the inclusive, sustainable, and equitable goals of Society 5.0? Oh, that's a long question. Well done, Daryl. How can businesses effectively balance technological innovation with human-centric values? So I think the simplest answer there would be with making reasonable and short steps, not be getting sidetracked or distracted by all the shiny new terms that I need to, implement this technology, that technology. The higher ups should be focused enough to start with one technology at a time, add that, and see how what are the ethical implications there, what are the industry regulations there, because that will be another part. We talk about AI, but AI regulation will be a big part in future. So you take one step at a time and build towards that. So ultimately, it's a slow run. You don't have there is nothing to win here by doing that. So you can only make a mess of it. So I think I'll probably say shorter steps, but a very good question, Daryl, or one on which we can do a whole seminar or webinar itself as well. Thank you. You give me a good idea for a future webinar. Okay, Ricardo, what does environmental sustainability all its importance in? So I think your question is, does it fall under Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0? So to be honest, Industry 5.0, one of the main focus is sustainability. So Industry 5.0 will have two focus. One will be collaborative robots, so robots working with humans, and the other one will be sustainability, where different parts of the manufacturing process will lead to a more sustainable operation. So that will be a big focus. So sustainability goals we are already implementing a little bit here and there as well, but it will be a big focus of in Industry 5.0. Again, Industry 5.0 is still a newly discussed topic, but yeah, that can be a big part as well. Okay, I can see more questions there. How do we deal? Okay, Vinny, how do we deal with the cost of connectivity for in the 5.0 industry devices? Uh, so how do we deal with the cost of connectivity for industry 5.0 devices to perform effectively? Well, I mean, cost will eventually go down, right? So as technologies, more and more technologies come, uh, the cost of the new connectivity or new technology that is very high now, those will eventually go down. So you'll just have to cope up with it. And I think every business probably has their financial analysis of implementing a new technology, the cost it's providing, and how much we're getting back in return. Cost analysis, I think that's the term, right? So that will probably be focus of that. And a lot of these industries are now data driven as well. So a lot of data analytics go into that sort of business analytics, basically, go into those sort of decision making as well. Okay, so Krishnamurti is saying with Industry 4.0 moving towards Industry 5.0 and Society 5.0, data privacy is becoming a great concern where many are struggling. What is your point of view as regards to this issue, and how do you think this can be overcome? So data privacy, I mean, I feel even now, but in the future, definitely one of the most valuable things you can have or you will have is your data. So data will be so valuable, so powerful. It already is, but it will be worth so much that yeah, data security will become a more important issue. So I think as more and more integrated technologies are becoming, that means more systems are becoming open systems, right? So more systems are sharing information. So if we're talking about vehicle to vehicle connectivity, that means 10 cars are in a lane or in 3 lanes are sharing information together, which is why they can make decisions together. But that also means that data is being shared among 10 cars. So if one can hack that network, that potentially can hamper the operation. So data security will become a big part. So that will need to be more safeguards basically against it in the future. So definitely on with more knowledge on that would be good. Um, I can see more questions. How can we implement, sorry, where did I go? Oh, yes. how do we implement generative AI in terms of safety and security in software and also the hardware used to deploy in the oil and gas industry? So generative AI again, I think so it's a very specific question, right? But if you think about safety, it's more about, I mean, based on my understanding, I can say I'll give a very high level answer because I'm not really from the oil and gas industry, but I can think of things like the modeling, system modeling, or you can think of data collection and management, which can lead to some decision making, and probably like planning, some sort of planning level work. So I think that's the areas where the oil and gas industry can be helped by the generative AI in terms of safety and security. So I think, yeah, but definitely modeling. So system modeling probably will be a big part. I see Joseph saying if Society 5.0 is rolled out and if automation is coded within a system, will the system be able to make decisions based on what is right and what has to be done? That's a very tricky question, to be honest. That's more of an ethical question, I feel. So this will depend on how the program is coded and what is the capacity. And so this will always be, if you say what is right or what has to be done, that again will be an answer of what is right and what has to be done. That answer is written by you as part of the code. So you are making that decision. So it's not the AI that's making the decision. It's actually you made the decision and put it as part of the code, and that is being done. I don't think machines have evolved enough at that point, and I don't think it will be evolving anytime soon to that level in the near future. Okay. Navneet says, how can Industry 4.0 technologies overcome challenges related to data privacy to ensure efficient operation? So Douglas has said, of course, data privacy should be to cover up criminal or terrorist activities. And Daryl says, overcome data privacy by implementing robust encryption, ensuring transparent data practices, adopting stringent access control and regulatory auditing, updating security measures. Yeah, to be honest, it's a very simplistic answer, or not a simplistic answer. It's a very broad answer, but it's actually a reasonable solution. So the when you talk about data privacy challenges, this is the what Daryl mentioned is absolutely right. So it's basically what security measures you can implement, what are the regulations there. So you just follow that. So that's basically the idea. But with Industry 4.0, as I mentioned, when you talk about data privacy, it is mainly about because of more integration and an open system, now you have more data being available to people or yeah, more rooms or more road to access the data. So the security measures will need to focus on that. That is the main thing. And I think one more is self-service gas stations 4.0 and 5.0. Um, well, self-service gas stations, if it's still machines doing all the work, that will probably be uh, 5.0. But when you talk about Society 5.0, it might also be a scenario where the autonomous car that you are selecting or you are using, that might make the route as part of the sorry, gas station part of the route that you are taking and making the planning accordingly. And maybe and as part of it, they're selecting out of these four gas stations, which one is more suitable for that person, depending on when they will need their gas. So that sort of high level or more integrated operation will be 5.0. So when you say self-service gas station, it's again an integrated society. So if you think from that point of view, Benson, so I think that will more be 5.0. Uh, are those all the questions, Lisa, or are there more? Have I missed something?
Um, I think that's all for now. And I think some of the questions in the chat are also shared in the Q&A um, function as well, or chat box. And thank you so much for answering all of those, Dr. AK. I'm sure they are very interested and had learned a lot from this topic today. That's why they asked a lot of questions, and thank you for your patience in answering as well. For those, if we missed any questions, do not worry, because we will be sharing a contact information later on for you to send your follow-up questions or any questions that we haven't covered today. And we will be forwarding that to Dr. AK, and we will be sure to get back to you to give you the answer as well. Dr. AK, before I proceed to the next slide, do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you for the engagement. Really appreciate it. I think lots of room for upgrades for the everyone attending with new knowledge of new technology and new degrees as well.
Thank you so much. That was indeed very insightful and refreshing for everyone here. All right. So if you are in course that is related to Industry 4.0, then you can go ahead and um, have a look at our courses. We have a graduate certificate in Internet of Things for engineering foundations. We also have an advanced diploma of industrial automation engineering, an advanced diploma of robotics and mechatronics engineering. And also, we have an online Bachelor of Science in Industrial Automation Engineering, as well as a Master of Engineering in Industrial Automation. We will be sending you a copy of this material. You can click these links when you have the copy for, and it will direct you to our designated pages in our website for you to learn more about each of these. So if you'd like to get a certificate of attendance, please scan the QR code that you can see on the screen. And I will also be posting the link. If you don't like scanning QR codes, please use the link that I had sent in the chat box. And please remember that you need to fill out this form for you to be able to get a certificate of attendance, because we won't be able to get your information and prepare the certificate if you don't fill out the form. And no, please note that requests will be closed on Monday, the 10th of, sorry, not the 10th of July, but the 29th of July at 5 a.m. UTC. So that's this coming Monday. This form will be closed again, 29th of July at 5 a.m. UTC. Please take note of that. That is our deadline for submitting the certificate request. But if you can do it now with the QR code or the link that I sent, please do so that you won't forget it. All right. And for those who would like to visit our website, you can go to www.eit.edu.au. And for those who are in Australia and you'd like to visit us, we are located at 6 and 8 Thelma Street, West Perth. For those calling from Australia, you can use our 1300 number that you can see on the screen. And for those who are outside Australia, you can call our +61 number. Still, you can see that on the screen. And if you'd like to ask more questions about this topic today or anything related to our webinars, you can send an email to webinars@eit.edu.au. And for those who'd like to see our list of upcoming and available courses, you can go to www.eit.edu.au/schedule. Hold on. I can see someone who said that the link is not working. Let me just double check that. Please bear with me. Um, I can see that it works just well on my end. Try clicking the link again, or try using another browser, maybe Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome. That work, because I just tried the link now and it's actually working at the moment. Okay, so Okay, thank you for confirming that the link is working. So, right, if you are good with the webinar link and if you have noted our contact information, it is time to end our session. We are very thankful that you are here today, and we are really happy that you ask valuable questions, which means that you are interested in the topic. And this also means that on the topic that we are discussing today and the information that Dr. AK is sharing is very helpful to everyone. So thank you so much for your feedback and your interaction. We hope to see you in our upcoming webinars. Just go to our website to see our upcoming technical webinars. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day or evening, and see you in the next webinars. Thank you so much, Dr. AK.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lisa.